Hey, this is Mike from Minimal 3DP, and today I'm doing a follow-up video to last week's about adaptive pressure advance. So let's go ahead and get started. This video is brought to you by PCBWay, an awesome prototyping service. I want to thank them for their sponsorship for this video. Last week I posted a video about adaptive pressure advance in Orca Slicer, and it turns out lots of people, hadn't been using this feature, and at least for me and my channel, this has turned into a sort of popular video for me. And there were some questions asked, and I just want to point out some things. One, I had several questions regarding the speeds I selected. I selected the speeds mainly from what was posted here in the wiki. Mainly, I wanted to check my numbers, first the calculations they're having, and just make sure I understood everything. Now, the other question I had some people that send me the results for way over that 200 speed or 250 speed. And let me find it here and just point this out. One of the reasons why I didn't go faster than that 200 to 250 range is this warning right here in the wiki. Basically what's happening is, since we're using a model based on Ellis's awesome guide and his work, the lines are short. And if you go any speeds, print speeds higher than, say, 200 to 250 millimeters per second, the printhead's never going to get to those higher speeds unless you redesign the model you're using. So if you redesign the model to have longer lines, you could possibly do higher speeds. But right now, as the model's set up, Orca Slicer itself is recommending don't go at higher speeds, again, higher than, say, 250. If you do go higher than 250 for your print speed, you're going to wind up introducing error where PA is trying to compensate for input shaping, and they're going to cancel each other out, and you're literally not going to improve your results at all. So just be aware that based on the size of the model, you're better off looking at print speeds between 200 and 250. And again, Ellis has also identified that the slowest acceleration you really want to start with is that 1000. So you can go higher accelerations, but you need to keep the lowest acceleration you use at 1000. Now, I also had questions regarding my tests, and I'll switch over and show you my results. So when I ran the tests, I was using the default values in Orca Slicer. So I'm just going to go to one of my printers, going to hit Calibration and Pressure Advance. I set it to the PA pattern, and then I use these default values right here, stepping by 0.05. Many viewers pointed out that maybe I want to go a smaller number than that to better dial in that PA. Right now, I think I went to 2 or 3 decimal places. In some cases, I rounded. I did the best I could. But they pointed out that maybe I should do a second round to dial it in even further. So with that in mind, what I've done is created a second set of lines here in my spreadsheet. You could run that first test, and then it'll calculate up here what the range of your values are, what the max, min, and the step should be. Now, how I calculate the step is the original test. So let's go back to here. When I set this up, slice it, and look at it, there's basically 16 lines here, or 17 lines. So I just use that number, and that way I could get a test that proportionally is about the same size as the default. And with that being said, what I can then do is go in here, go back, and I'm going to delete this test, and I'm going to rerun it. So now I could do a second round of testing. So I'm going to do a start value, pull from my spreadsheet of 0.035. So that's my smallest value. So 0.035. 0.035. I'm going to then use my top value, which was 0.075. So let's go back to Orca Slicer and do 0.075. And then I'll enter in my step value of 0.0025. So let's enter that in, 0025. Run this test now. And that's it. So we have a model that's about proportional. And now it's looking at a much smaller range here. And I should be able to better dial in my PA test. This video is sponsored by PCBWay, an awesome PCB prototyping service. One of their great features is their instant quote, where you can set the specifications of your PCB board. You can upload a Gerber file and then receive an instant quote. Once you place your order, you then can take a look at their transparency window to take a look at the production status. Under your account, you click production status. With this production transparency, you'll be able to see what the status of your order is and what's actually going on. So again, I want to thank PCBWay for their sponsorship task. Now, with this being said, I'm probably going to, in the spreadsheet, subtract out, make this number a little bit smaller, this number a little bit bigger, so that way I can test it a little bit better. We'll just sit here and do that. What I'm going to guesstimate, I'll add 0.005. And with this one, I'm going to subtract 0.005. And now I can just use those numbers as my top and bottom. That gives me a little bit greater range. That way, if my PA, when I guesstimated it, was 0.035, I now have a little bit of wiggle room. Let's go back over to Orca and we'll change our values. So we'll go back to the pressure advance test and I'll change this to 0.03, 0.08, change this number, and let me slice it. So that gives me a nice model. I can then use that to dial in my numbers a little bit more. So with the spreadsheet, I'm using the same accelerations. I'll have to just put in the flow values and then whatever PA I believe is the best. Now I can keep running this test over and over again as long as I update my PA values and the flow values to change the maximum minimums. I can keep running this in order to dial this in further and further. In my case, I'm probably going to just run this one more time, get those values, and then paste them in for the adaptive pressure advance. Just to go over the process there, I go in here, put in my new high and low, my new step value, and then I'm just going to type in 100, 150, and 200. For accelerations, I did 1,000, 3,000, 4,000. And let me check my spreadsheet, make sure that's indeed what I did. I'm sorry, I did 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000, so let's fix that. You can tell it's been a long week. So we'll hit that, run the test again. That fills my plate. Everything has the new numbers. You can see here's the flow values, so I'll need to capture those and put that into my spreadsheet. PA value I select, and there I'm good to go. So hopefully you found that helpful. Again, I'll put the spreadsheet in the video description. My hope here is that you can use this to calculate things and then just copy those model values and paste that right into Orca Slicer. If you found this helpful, please feel free to like, share, and then also I've added an option now to join a membership. If you decide to do that membership, that helps me and the channel out. Pretty much everything I get from the channel, I've been plowing back into the channel to buy new printers, equipment, and to make future videos. So I want to thank you again for your time and your support. It means a lot, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks. Have a good day.